right, guys, I'm going to pause it there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to welcome everybody to our Crowning Thoughts podcast. And we are going to get started. And so, just quickly, just to go over our rules for our discussion. So, I just ask when you're entering that you please put your device on mute and just be mindful that this is an environment of love, faith, and mutual respect. Also, make sure you have your journal, okay? Mine not coming in, but make sure you have a journal to write on. I don't know why it's not coming in. So that you can collect the pearls of wisdom that will be shared today by our guests. And also remember that our podcast is being recorded and I'm going to upload it to our YouTube channel. So make sure you're following our YouTube channel. All righty. So before we get started, we were able to have a really great event, our very first Women's Empowerment Brunch. I just want to give a shout out to everyone who came, everyone who participated. I hope that you were blessed. You were literally empowered in some form or fashion. And it was just a wonderful event. I actually go to pick up the book today. The photographer made me a hard book along with my pictures. So I'm so excited. I can't wait to get it. So I'm looking forward to the next one. I saw some mistakes. You know, we always go back and look at what can we do better. And so it's going to be even better next year. I'm so excited. So once again, I just want to thank everyone who attended, who came, who spoke. Just it was just really good. It exceeded my dreams. And so now this month we're going to be talking to Erica Toussaint. So for those who may not know, Erica is actually one of my homegirls. She's from my hometown of Port Allen. And she actually grew up, amen, in the church that I grew up in, my grandfather's church, Sunrise Baptist Church. So this is really special to me and my family to interview someone who, you know, has been in the trenches with us. She knows us. She knows me. You know, she's a little bit older than me, so she saw me grow up. And so I've been talking to my mom and my aunts, and they were just sharing with me about her and about her family. And I was like, oh, wow, this is really going to be, you know, special. So I just want to welcome her on into our podcast. And woo, welcome, welcome, welcome. And so I'm going to read her bio. So it says, Erica D. Toussaint, the wife of one husband, a mother of three amazing sons, is a wonderful, charming, energetic dynamo. She is a catalyst that changes any environment she enters. Oh, I love that. Erica is an encourager, born with the gifts of edification, love, and humility, seasoned with the adamant belief that all things are possible to those who believe. Being from a small town of Sunrise, Louisiana, the self-proclaimed country girl, and I guess that's Malek chick from around the way, possesses a zeal for life that is hard for some from a similar background to comprehend. Always one that can be found actively putting in her work. The 27-year, oh wow, certified human resource strategist and CEO of Me Incorporated Club is bent on making her own way while leveraging many of the learnings from her late grandmother. Her motto, mantra, and favorite words and scriptures come from the book of Mark 5:36, and it simply says, only believe. So welcome, welcome, Erica.
Thank
Welcome.
you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be with you all today, this evening. Thank you so much for having me. Can
Hey,
you hear me okay?
yeah, I'm gonna switch it to, I'm trying to switch it to
Okay.
speaker view. So you know how this goes, you know, we're all running,
Yeah.
navigate our different platforms here.
Hmm.
Okay, it's not letting me. All right, usually when I pin, it makes the person.
Hmm.
All right, well, I don't want to delay. I'll,
No problem.
yeah, I'll probably correct it in the edit. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So can you briefly just tell us about yourself?
Well, first of all, thank you again. I'm so excited to be with you ladies today. Thanks for inviting me. I just want to ask again, is the audio okay? You can hear me pretty good?
Uh-oh.
Ava? Avon, can you hear me?
Yeah, you kind of went
Okay.
out. Could you back up a little bit?
All right. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
All right. So I said, I just wanted to thank you for inviting me. This is so exciting and special to me. I'm honored to be a guest on the Crowning Thoughts podcast. So just a little bit about myself. You read my bio. You know, I'm the wife of one husband. We have three amazing kings, I like to call them. Right now, they're amazing. Sometimes I could choke them a little bit, but they're still amazing.
Okay.
You can still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, all right. So their ages 28, 22, and 15. As you said,
Oh,
I'm a
wow.
certified human resources professional. I've been in my profession for over 27 years. So I'm the CEO of Me Inc., which is it's a safe place where we come as ladies just to kind of redefine our reality based on what God said about us. And my bio you read about it's Mellow Inc. And so what Mellow Inc. is, it's elevation, but my husband and I, we spell it with ELOH, like Elohim. So it's just a mindset elevation. I love to encourage. I love to edify. I love to lift up. I am real. I'm raw. I'm relevant. I have been told I'm holy with a little pinch of hood, but it's okay. And so I'm a co-author of the amazing anthology of that includes 36 other women. And I'm an unstoppable Black woman, and I just love Jesus. So that's a little bit about me.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Okay, so going on to our next question. Tell us, what was it like growing up in Sunrise?
Oh my God. I was so pumped about this since we first reconnected a couple of months ago. So I'm gonna try my best not to tear up. But growing up in Sunrise, not Port Allen, Sunrise, which is a little town outside of the city limits of Port Allen, you know, we were a close knit community, you know, and when I close my eyes, I could see those three little streets, Vicknair, Lee, and Fay, which we affectionately call the White Street. As I got older, I realized why we called it the White Street.
Okay.
Um,
Oh,
but you know, I thought we were a very close knit neighborhood and community, and that's where I really got my first sense of familyhood. You know, even as I go down those streets, as I'm thinking about it, you know, every person in on those streets in that neighborhood pretty much had a two family household. You know, when I go down, but I start on Vicknair, I think about the Ios, and then the Cages, the Grimes, the Hendersons, the Tallies, the Franklins, the
good
the
old.
Harrisons, you know,
Yeah.
the good olds, just the Miners, the Gaines.
Mhm.
And you know, and as I got older, you know, I didn't really understand that then, but being married, you know, been with my husband through a lot, trials and tribulations over the 30 years. When I think back to my neighborhood, that's where I got my first sense of husband and wife. Really, I didn't even know what it was then, but I know now. But growing up was really good. I mean, playing in the water hose, skating down the streets. Just we had a really good neighborhood. Now we didn't have a lot, but we made do with what we have. I remember, and I won't prolong the time, but I remember when slip and slides came out, and that was the big thing. You know, we went to school, and you know, all the white kids had like the real slip and slide, and we were like, we want a slip and slide. Baby, my grandmother, they got together, put that Visqueen out there, put a little that Tide washing powder in
Did
there,
it
put
work?
some water on there. We
Mm-hmm.
had a slip and slide. So we had some we had some good times. So that's what I remember about my neighborhood, about my community. And when you define community and neighborhood, I'm sorry, you have to go to Sunrise, you have to go to Poplar Grove, and you have to go to Malata Bend. You just have to go there. We defined what community and neighborhood and caring about one another was. So
That's good. Oh, I love it. I was just listening to you, and so many memories started popping up.
Mhm.
Especially when you said the miners, because the miners are my grandmother's sister, you know, Bebe was
Oh,
Doretha. And
yeah.
we used to go to her house from time to time, and she had the most amazing garden. Like, that's where I fell in love with fresh vegetables, because we could just go
Mhm.
pick a tomato, you know, pick a
Yes.
cucumber, cut it up, put a little salt, pepper, and vinegar in it, you know, and it's
Mhm.
like, that was the best thing, you know, of your summer. just to go out.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, sunrise.
and get those Dixie cups from Miss Shenny. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
yeah.
Okay, all
Yes,
right.
yes, yes. And we used to get our little candy bags from the good olds, go to
Go,
the
yeah,
store. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. I know. It's like, oh my God, I remember. Yeah. All right, so let's roll on. So, who was your biggest inspiration growing up?
Growing up, my biggest inspiration was my grandmother, Eloise Andrews Offord. She was my biggest inspiration. She was, at the time, I didn't even realize what we call now, what my mentor calls now, a parapreneur. She was an entrepreneur, at the
Mm,
back then, everybody owned like a nightclub, but she owned the nightclub Playboys, and she did work as well. But she was such an inspiration to me. I realize now that I know what speaking prophetically means now, and being able to speak things into your future, into existence. I don't believe she knew what she was doing then.
okay.
But she would always tell me, that it's not going to always be this way. Sometimes no means yes. And just always reaffirming who I was and who she saw me as. And as a little girl, you really don't understand that, when somebody tells you, that you're going to be great, and that you're going to speak to nations, and that your voice is going to heal people and soothe people. And I'm like, I don't even like my voice. What are you talking about? What do I have to offer? But as I look back on those things, she was my greatest inspiration. Yes, my grandmother.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So, what is one thing that motivates you to write this or to participate in this book?
Oh, so, my God, multiple things, but to be frank but friendly, like my husband says I am, I would
Okay.
have to say fear.
Oh.
Fear was my biggest motivation, and
Oh.
mixed with a
Explain
little.
that. That's interesting.
So yeah, fear. Fear that if I kept quiet and I didn't share my story, that another young person would not be encouraged to
Oh,
leave a
wow,
legacy.
that's beautiful.
So it was fear that drove me. Fear that if I kept my pain and my disappointments and my hurt bottled up, that I wouldn't leave the door open for those that have to come behind me. Because if we keep silent, no one hears our voice, and no one hears what we have to say because we're not using our voice. And I really wanted to use my voice as VOICE, victory over my insecurities and my circumstances for my elevation. So fear drove me to write, to
Wow.
participate.
That is beautiful. I've never heard that perspective. That is a beautiful
Yeah.
perspective.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So next thing, how are you planning to impact women and young ladies of our area?
Okay, great. So I think really right now I'm taking every opportunity to share my story, and it's not so much about selling books because there are 36 other authors that have amazing.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I hear some feedback.
I think someone is on mute. Please mute yourself. Hopefully that can help with it. Okay.
Okay, all right. So to take every opportunity, even to share my story and create opportunities to share my story. I plan to use, like I said, my time, my talent, and my treasure to sow, serve, and support not just my community, but young African American young Black girls. My plan is to take my 27 years of experience and provide tips for the workforce for young ladies that are coming out of prison.
Okay.
Yeah, to help them to prepare to get acclimated, either to get in the workforce or just kind of help with some personal things and tips from a human resources perspective. And another
Okay.
thing is to go into the schools, because I'm a big proponent of education, but let's be real, a lot of kids may not want to go to college. They may want to get in the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that there's a lot of programs that prepare them to be ready to enter the workforce, but there's not a program that prepared them to have that additional stream of income, because I believe that you should have multiple streams of income. So going in like at that freshman year, preparing them, giving them strategies and tips to get ready for a career, and also talking about being an entrepreneur. What's your passion? What do you love? Make that pay you, make that pay you.
That's so
So,
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so important, and it's so needed. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, it is. Especially, I always say like about middle school, because
Hmm.
you kind of start realizing, okay, I'm good at this. I think I can make a living doing this. So that's such a good age to tap on.
Yeah, and
Hey, have you
it
thought
is,
about
and I
this?
think, yeah, that, and also, I didn't get it. I learned from the School of Hard Knocks, how to balance a checkbook, those kind of
Yeah,
basic life skills.
yeah.
They're not taught in school. You're an educator, so just those things. I like to say the common sense. So you can have
Mhm.
book sense, but just sprinkle it with a little street sense. So that's what that little piece right there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We gotta talk because
Okay,
I want
good.
to do those in my nonprofit. Things
Okay.
like that to help ladies. Yeah, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay. All right. All
Uh,
right.
so let's move on. So just to piggyback off that, so how can we as women build each other up and form like a collective sisterhood? Because I know your book is gonna touch probably on something like this by that
Hmm.
title.
So this is huge. I know right now, self-care, and
Mhm.
that's the big thing right now that's going around. We're using it, diluting it, a lot, because I think self-care is more than just going to get a mani and a pedi. That mental space needs to be taken care of first. But how can we build each other up? I think we have to begin by affirming one another and providing true support, not just lip service. Okay. And it's not always about the quantity of people. It's more about the quality. So again, we have to begin to affirm one another. We have to learn to be present with each other as sisters, and be there to listen, to understand what one another is going through, not just respond to it, and particularly not respond out of your pain. So we have to learn. If, like my grandmother used to say, if you don't have nothing good to say, then don't say nothing at all.
Mhm.
But to build each other up collectively. And the biggest thing that we have to do is we have to move past being superficial and get into the supernatural. And in order to do that, you have to be transparent, and you have to be naked. You have to expose your scars. We have to be willing to do that. Now, you got to be careful who you share with. Use wisdom. Use
Mhm.
wisdom. But we have to get out of the superficial and move to the supernatural to be able to help one another and really be our sisters, our sister keeper. And that comes from communicating, because a lot of times as sisters, we don't communicate. We don't communicate with each other. Now we can tell, we sometimes we'll talk to the men in our lives and that kind of thing, but be able to tell your sister, I'm hurting. And also be able to say, what you said, that offended me, that offended me a little bit. Let's talk about it and
Jesus.
forgive ourselves. We got to forgive ourselves first. Forgiveness has to start with us first, and then forgive one another. But communication is going to be key. We got to communicate with each other and share and be transparent and be naked.
Oh, all right. I like that. I like that. Okay. So, in brief terms, what are you currently working on?
Okay, so right now, I'm doing the Unstoppable Black Woman anthology. So we'll be doing a book tour with that. I am also working on HR for Your Elevation. That's coming from my Me Inc. club, the company that I own, Me Inc. Incorporated. So
Okay.
HR for Your Elevation, again, like I said earlier, talking about going into the schools, talking about getting into the prisons to kind of help our sisters prepare for when they get out, for what's next step there. And also in your workplace, your work life, if you're wanting to elevate to that next level, it may not necessarily be a promotion. It just may be elevate to that next, do 10x with what you're doing now. let's say you are a human resources generalist. You may not strive to be a manager, but you want to be 100% great at that, just helping you elevate to that next level with that. The last thing is my husband and I, we've been married for over 30 years, and we've had some pitfalls and snares. I'll share that, when we first got married, I was in love with the idea of being married, the dress, the big wedding, all of that great stuff. But I wasn't in love with the idea of marriage.
Okay.
So when we first married, we married for 3 years. And then we divorced for 3 years. And then we remarried. Okay. So I married the same man twice.
Okay.
I married the same man twice. So we've been married now. We don't count the gap. We've been married for 30 years. So something that we're working on now is marriage matters. And so we have a lot of things that are going to be coming forth with that. And I'll be able to share at a later date. We'll be doing some things on Clubhouse. We just finished penning our first book. Okay. So we have that. We'll have some retreats and some other things. So I'll be able to share a little bit more about that. Maybe you'll welcome me back and I'll be able to talk a little bit about that. And we can talk about some couple things. So that's some of the things that we have going on.
Yeah. Oh, all right now. So we're going to have some big things coming. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to our next question. So why do you think it's so important for our young girls to see other Black women who are successful, who, quote, made it, like as we say?
Okay. I think, Ava, it's important for us to see those images. We need to see each other healthy, whole, and we need to see each other prosperous so that they can have something to aspire to. And leave a legacy, for their children's children's children. But what's important also is we can't, I know back in the day, used to call it liquid paper or whiteout now. They not only need to see our success stories, the end result, like you said, who made it, but they also need to know the journey. Because I think we leave that part out.
Right.
We leave that part out. Yeah, they have to understand, and that's why this book is so important. You read the stories of, like I said, over 37 unstoppable Black women. There's some trauma. I mean, I had trauma in my own personal life, growing up. I was molested as a young girl. But you see now in the things that I'm working on, the things that I'm working through, that part of the journey. So I think it's important for them not only to see those success stories, but understand that journey so that you'll know what individuals went through, and then that you can pull and draw from those experiences.
Yes, you're right. That's so true. I always tell, other women, your daughter needs to know your story.
Yes.
She needs to know your story.
Regardless of how painful it is or how ugly it is, they need to hear that. They need to know that. We need to know. And that, again, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, how as Black women that we can come together more, by being transparent, because nobody wants to talk about the ugly, but we have to talk about it. That's the only way that we're going to heal, and be able to move forward.
That's so true. Yeah, so true. Okay, so let's move on. So if you could take a girl under your wing for 90 days, what would you tell her?
I'm going to have to grab my book to read this from my book. And so, and the books are in, so I'll be autographing and getting them out to you all soon. I wanted to personally write a little note, so I'll be getting those out soon. But in the book, we were able to write our unstoppable Black woman story. And then we wrote a story to our younger selves, and then we wrote a prayer. And so I'm going to read directly from my story to my younger self, because if I could take a young lady under my wing for 90 days, These are the 3 things that I would definitely share with her. Actually, it's 5. So I'm going to read them to you real quick.
Okay.
I know we've already talked about past hurts, pains, disappointments, and traumas. We're going to have those things in life. And so I would let her know that definitely we're going to have those things. That's a part of being transparent, like what we were talking about early, sharing the ugly, but be of good cheer, because we can apply the balm of Gilead to those past hurts, to every trauma that we ever encountered. God didn't leave us without something. We can apply that salve to that. The other thing I would tell her is to embrace her beauty.
Okay.
Be authentic. Love yourself. Love your hair. I don't care. Your teeth, whatever's going on with you, love yourself. Embrace your beauty. Because for the longest time, I have like a little mole under my nose here. I don't know if y'all could see it. I thought that was the horrible. I was like, that looks like a booger. I need to get this off of me. But the crazy thing is, my husband loves it. So my future Boaz embraced it. But as a young girl, I didn't. So embrace your beauty, whatever that is, inside and out, embrace your beauty. And number 3, keep your say-do ratio high. If you're going to do something, say you're going to do it, do it. And if you're not able to do it, it's okay to renegotiate those timelines, because that builds character and that builds integrity. If something comes up, renegotiate those timelines, but keep your say-do ratio high. So if you start that now, that's going to build credibility, and that's going to build, good rapport going forward with those that you're interacting with. And so number 4 is speak up, say something, use your voice, because your voice is your victory over any insecurity that you may have, over any circumstance that you're faced with. Your voice is for your elevation, because in the beginning, God said, he spoke something. Use your voice, use your voice, use your voice. And finally, stand on the word of God, stand on those promises. You got to stand on those promises, no matter what you're going through. Find you a scripture, stand on those promises. And mine is only believe, only believe. Only believe. We're going to be faced with a whole lot of things, but sweetheart, only believe, because the end shall surely speak and not lie.
Amen. Oh, y'all haven't placed y'all order. Please place your order so you can get the book.
Some books.
See, that book is going to be awesome. All right. Oh, I can't wait for mine. Ooh. Yes. Oh, goodness. All right. So is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
I'm just so thankful for this opportunity to be your guest and reconnect with you. This is so good. I'm just so, just to see you. I remember you as a little girl, and, to see you now and all the great, wonderful things that you're doing, and I'm just so excited that, you stepped out and you did that, the brunch that we had, you told your little story about that, about how what you want to do it, and you did it. And that was just so awesome, just to kind of to reconnect with you. So, but I want to share that on July 31st, I'll be in Spring, Texas at the Augustus Pine Golf Club. That's where we're starting our Unstoppable Black Woman. We have an event. And during that event, we like to call it that the bees are coming. The bees are coming. We will be embracing our bees. Bzz, black, beautiful, brilliant, bold, and business-minded.
Oh, I like that.
So I know, in the world, a lot, they use that term "bee" to be negative, but the bees are coming. Black, beautiful, brilliant, bold, and business-minded. So we'll have that. We're kicking that off in July.
Okay.
And so the tickets are on sale for that now. I'm still promoting the book. And like I said, more to share about the things that my husband and I are working on. And if you guys are on Clubhouse, Sunday through Thursday at 6:30 a.m., I am a moderator in the Clubhouse. It's a CEO prayer closet for entrepreneurs, as well as CEOs of Me Inc. And what we mean by Me Inc. is everybody may not have a business right now. You may be in the season where you're working on yourself, Me Inc. So it's a room where our motto is to sow, serve, and support. And we do prayer. We'll pray for you, pray for your business, listen to your praise report, and we just encourage one another. So that's on Clubhouse,
Uh-huh. I'm gonna have to get
and
on Clubhouse. I'm not on
that's
Clubhouse, but I've heard
yeah,
I
yeah,
heard
that's
about
Sunday.
it, and a friend of mine sent me an invite, and I was like,
Yeah,
but I don't
and
know
if
if
you
I can get on Clubhouse on my Android. I have an Android phone.
Yeah, you can. They open
Oh,
it
I
up to
can? Okay.
Android. And for
Okay.
those of you who are listening, if you need an invite, just DM me or send me a message and I can send you out an invite.
Okay.
But we're
I'm
there
gonna get
Sunday
it
through
set up.
Thursday and on Fridays at 7 a.m. And so we're on Clubhouse. And like I said, the things that my husband and I are working on, we're going to have a segment on Clubhouse as well, and
Okay.
as well as our podcast. We
I
have
do that.
that going on. Let me see what else I want to share.
Yeah, you moving and grooving. Oh, well,
And
this has
so
been such a
the
blessing.
last thing I want to say is stay tuned to my IG and my Facebook page, because that's where you learn more about HR for elevation and
Okay.
things that you can do, and you can tap in with me there. So,
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna link up and follow you. Okay, guys. We got some homework. We can link up if you haven't already done so.
mhm.
So yeah, oh, that's awesome. Okay, well, this kind of brings us to the end of our
Okay.
wonderful podcast. I don't like to keep us over 30 minutes. We're going a little bit
Okay.
over.
Okay.
But thank you so much, Erica. We have really
Welcome.
enjoyed our time with you. Just slide this to the side. Um, yeah, we have really enjoyed this. This is so awesome. Like just ideas, popping off, and just to hear, other things that you have shared. And so, just to piggyback off what you shared, how we are to share our experiences, it ties in perfectly with the crowning thought for today.
Mhm.
So, today's crowning thought is if you light a lamp for someone, it will also brighten your own path. And I just think how that is so important. You share your story, with another lady or with another guy or whatever, you start to feel good about yourself because it's like, okay, like you say, if they made it, then I can make it
Mhm.
too. Like this too shall pass, like the scripture said.
Mhm.
So that's our crowning thought. My timer is getting ready to go off. And I just really wanted to share with everybody. We have some crowning thoughts merchandise that will be available soon. So
Okay.
excited to get it out. So people been hounding and hounding when you're gonna get it out. So we're gonna get it out. The first will be a journal and then possibly a t-shirt that we're working on. So yeah, like you said, we're moving and grooving. We're doing it. So I just love that about being connected with other ladies and other men who are you have a
Mhm.
dream and you working towards it, or you have a goal and you working towards that goal. So I love that. So thank you once again. Oh my goodness, we all just been so blessed by your testimony, and also about what you share about the book. I can't wait to get the book. Like, oh
Okay.
God, I can't wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
Thank you so much.
oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. So, Erica was our July speaker. And so, next month, we're going to have one of my spiritual mentors, Miss Lucille Anderson. We affectionately call her Mama Lucille. And she's from Bethany World Prayer Center. So, she's going to come. She's just recently wrote a book as well. And so, she'll share with us about her book and about her testimony. She's a prayer warrior. Just I thank God for allowing me to be her one of her mentees. She